Northern Ireland has given us many amazing things. The modern tractor, Harry Ferguson. The ejector seat, Sir James Martin. The portable defibrillator, Frank Pantridge. Even the Los Angeles Aqueduct by William Mulholland. Even a boat that got most of the way across the Atlantic. And a few that did. Northern Ireland also created this monstrosity. This is the Shorts SC7 Skyvan. Now, as you can tell, it is related to its ugly sisters, the 330s and the 360s by Shorts. And oh dear, we looked at those from Black Square, and that Shorts regional was quite a character, was it not? Well, the Skyvan is no different, as this delightful real-world livery proves. Yeah. It has got a face only a mother could love, and an arse that shows it's absolutely been slapped for it. The Short Skyvan, however, is quite useful. She has a max takeoff weight of 12,500 pounds and an empty weight of 7,300. So that's a pretty reasonably useful weight of around 7,500 pounds, or, 5,000 pounds. I can count. Powered by two Garrett AI Research TPE 331, sorry, I should say turboprops, which are 715 shaft horsepower each. She can cruise at 150 knots, max speed of 175, get up to 22,000 feet, and fly for 600 odd nautical miles. It is a very useful little aircraft. It can seat up to 18. It has a toilet on board, place for a flight attendant. It is, in fact, you could say, the Twin Otter we deserved, not the one we got. Because she is a short-field machine, able to take off and land in under 1,800 feet to a clearance of 50 feet. Quite a capable little aircraft. High wing, braced, fixed gear. Much bigger cargo actual size capacity because of the ramp at the rear. Seating, useful. Indeed, designed by the Shorts brothers in Belfast, this aircraft is a very potent little thing, if you can get over how ugly she looks. Yeah, it is not in the slightest a pretty aircraft. I do apologise for that. We're going to go through and get ourselves on board now and take a look at this aircraft. Of course, you'll see we have some versions whilst we take a look here. This aircraft comes with, in fact, I'm going to go back inside first before we look around the outside. We have a survey version, we have a military version, and we have a skydive version, which we're looking at here, and a passenger version. The passenger version has seats. You know what seats look like. The military version has some seats and some fold-up seats / litter spaces. The skydive version has skydivers, and the survey version, I'm not sure why they made it, but they did. External-wise, textures and modelling is decent. It's good, in fact. Little nuances like that wingtip there just show the dedication to actually making somehow a shed fly well. The landing gear, I'm pretty sure, came off an actual caravan. Look at that nose wheel, it absolutely did get stolen from a caravan park. She's not a pretty aircraft, but she's very functional and she does her job. What do you think, guys, huh? Yeah? I know, I agree. I absolutely agree too. You'll note even dedication to the modelling here of having the actual oxygen lines for the skydivers whilst they're up here, which is a nice little trick. Is this structural? People have asked. It's a British aircraft, so it was probably originally designed without it. It was a bit wobbly, and someone said, you know what, if we brace it about here, that should sort it. Someone braced it and they found out it worked, so they went, okay, we'll just build that in more intentionally on the future models. And it was decided that way. That is how British things get designed. So, more than entirely plausible. Look at this cockpit. This is literally a garden shed. You're on the flight deck of a caravan. Not a Cessna caravan. An actual caravan. Not one of your American ones, but a proper British caravan that could roll away down a hill. Yes. Right, let's get ourselves back into the cockpit here of this beautiful, beautiful, horrific beast. And as you'll notice from the electrical panel, she has more inverters than a political party conference. And oh boy, does it get complicated. Let's get to our checklist here. So preliminary checklist, we'll go through the freight door that is open. We know that. Parking brake is set to on. That is not here. This is cold air and it's also bleed air. The parking brake is down here. Down, off, on, up. Control lock is unlocked. That is up here. That is on. That is off. You'll know that because it will show up on here if the controls are locked. If you do, you can't fly. Well, you can, you just can't steer. The balance cock is set to off. It is off currently. Feather handles are fully in, that is these. They are good to go. Into starting mode to normal. She is in fact now normal. What am I looking for on the list? I'll just run down this. Normal, engine start, there's on stop. Yes, that is correct. Ignition switches to normal, that is normal. Weather radar is off, that is fine. My battery is just on. Let's make sure these are all set. Boom, boom, bang. Okay. Now I have to turn my battery on here. And things start clicking. It's quite irritating. I'm not sure what's causing it. I have no switch conflicts, but this does not work on regular switches. So it's entirely plausible it's any number of things. I'm not getting an actual read from anything here, so... Oh, we are now. Okay, fantastic. The inverters, let's make sure those are good to normal transfer. Needs to go up here. Main battery switches to off. Switch off for my controls too, because things are conflicting quite interestingly. That was running with no flag, we were good there. Hydraulics, the only real thing we need to make sure we do here is turn it on. Fuel and instruments, those are good. We need to make sure the boosts are on for our takeoff. Well, those are both need to be on for flights, that's fine. Navigation is fine, engine instruments fine, center console will be fine. We'll quit to our starting checklist. So booster pump's on, I already skipped that one. Start to normal. Batteries will need to go on here, so we'll need to put our power on for this. Internal start power is set. We're going to make sure this goes to on. Let's make sure our fuel is set to port and starboard low pressure tanks before we actually turn the fuel on here. Why aren't you starting? What aren't you starting? I do love it when this sim doesn't do things properly, when I follow the checklist and something's going wrong. Why aren't you spinning up? Come on, let's go. Pretty sure I followed everything so far. It is set to run. Okay. Correct. Yeah. We're on run. That's start. Booster boosts are on. We're on normal. Now it's cranking. We have to cycle it. There we go. And once we get our numbers here past 10, fuel regulator can go in and we get a good start. And she spins up for us. Excellent. And we can do exactly the same here for the right. Yeah, you spinning up too. You are. Once it comes up to 10, we can give it a kick with our fuel regulator. Everything else will just be monitor and check. Boom. Port generator is on. That's tripped over. Coming up. This will trip down to run once it's done. Same for two engines. Basically, after start checklist will involve the normal bus. It has. Those are both to run. Starboard generator is on. Hydraulic system to on. That is correct. And as you'll notice here, you will see controls locked. Be attention, or pay attention to that one. Close the ramp there. Unlock those controls. Excellent, 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 excellent. Everything's looking good here. Taxi checklist will be just usual RPM checks, brakes, servicing, checking everything, making sure it's working. Otherwise, we're good to go. So we're going to get this old bird out here and head off. Now, one thing you will notice, by the way, is we have an electric flight flag from Inibuilds here. Now, we do have the usual functions of a map, which is useful. Classic cockpit, which includes no GPSs, but we have radios instead. I'll turn my avionics on by turning on my manual system. So we can have this, or we can go to... I prefer a pair of GNS systems. Wonderful. Okay, our transponder's set to go on there. Wonderful. We're good to go. Now, other cool features we have in terms of ground functioning, we can close all doors, bay lights, open doors remotely. But we can also do that manually by just going dee-dee. Notice how bright it is out there. Look how tinted these windows are. It's insane. It almost feels like I'm wearing these sunglasses here, which don't do anything as much as I want them to. So, we'll get the parking brake plunger depressed. Make sure our props are good. And we'll start taxiing out here. Okay, seeing as my computer decided it wanted to choose violence today, we're operational again. And we're going to get ourselves taxied out here. Once we get the parking brake disabled, we'll get ourselves moving. Now, ground handling is very, very easy with this aircraft. She runs quite quick. So you're going to want to run... Yeah, go away, VW Transporter. Run those props fairly low to the numbers. She will run pretty quickly here. Make sure we have our flaps set to 1 notch for takeoff. And you'll see just how fast this girl is on that takeoff run. There we go. Get it set up here where we want. Okay, props to full fine. Everything appears correct. Engines are spooled. We're ready to rock. Here we go. And watch this. 40 knots. Airspeed is alive. Pulling up already. Oh, control locks. Are they on? Well, there we go. Apparently the control locks decided to recycle themselves for me. That was fun. I don't want to discover that one mid-flight. Let's pull this power back into the green arc here for us. Bring the RPM down at the danger zone. And she climbs like a stuck pig. Look at ourselves turning here. It's about 10 minutes for us all the way over to Salamzi. Should be an easy trip as well. Up the valley, over a hill or two. Like I said, it's the Twin Notter. And I'm completely on board with this. As an idea goes, I'm fine with it. And by the way, in case you don't like having these visible, yoke gone. Yoke be back again. Yoke probably gone if I can click it. Armrests. We don't like armrests. We like armrests. We can put them back again. We can do whatever we like. Oh, I need to not click pitch trim while I'm actually flying the aeroplane. That's usually bad for your health. Okay, so we'll just cycle ourselves around here. Turboprop perfect for these mountains. And she's very plastic when it comes to the handling. Nothing major in the way of weirdness. Maybe a little quick on the trim. That is definitely something I've noticed, is she's very trim sensitive. Which isn't necessarily a problem, but it's definitely weird. I noticed a lot of aircraft in this sim are very, very slow on the trim. This one's very quick. Still got flaps out there. I'll pull those in. And watch our nose go plummeting down. Pull that up a tad. I wonder if... This is probably a bit low altitude for our daring skydivers. What does the surveying switch do? Nothing in this aircraft. Maybe it does on the surveying one. I wonder if giving them the warning... Does it make him jump out? No, it doesn't, unfortunately. That is disappointing. Oh, it does. It gives him an actual jump light. That's cool. Actually counts it down. Neat. No jumpers, which would have been cool. Mountain? No mountain. Nice. Okay. So we've wandered wholly off track here. Let's get back on course. Otherwise, we'll make this 10-minute trip take 35. Again, really no worries whatsoever up here in the mountains. Does not care in the slightest. Maneuverable, decent visibility, very controllable. The trim is super sensitive. Again, not the end of the world, but definitely just a bit weird. Just a little bit weird. Yeah, that's all I can describe it as, is a little weird. It's like British TV. It's not German TV levels of bad, but it's not American TV levels of high production. It's kind of just a bit weird. It's probably the best way to describe it. But no. The little shed is absolutely a fun little aircraft. I like it texture-wise. I like it instrumentation layout-wise. It's got enough equipment to be useful, whether it's classic or in this config. Weather radar, GPS systems, and a moving map from the EFB style system. We have plenty of navigation tools, systems, things we might want to use for flight, getting from A to B, and good visibility out the windshield. It's an interesting plane that can get in and out of tough places within fairly reasonably small amounts of space, and it looks good doing it. Now personally, I think it looks great. It's absolutely a garden shed, but I like that about it. Don't always have to be pretty to be amazing. That's the important part. I think this one definitely looks good. For me, it's the kind of plane I'd like to fly. Practical aircraft. Cannot open that in flight. That's a useful thing to note. And where are we now? We're about to turn on course here to join our trip. And we should be about 3 minutes away from Salamzi. We'll hop over here and we'll be there. No problemo. Like I said at the beginning of the video, this is a real plane. This gobby monster is actually a real plane that lives here at Salamzi. So it'll be cool to see its home airfield. Probably does plenty of parachute dropping in this area. Although probably not this close to the ground. A fairly decent sized control surfaces there to actually give it a lot of stability and maneuverability. Big control surfaces there on the wings, which will obviously help with low speed control. Very important things for stall aircraft. Okay, coming over the ridges now. We should be approaching our destination. Keep myself on the controls rather than just taking my hands off and relaxing. This is me fully trimmed out, completely hands off controls. Little pull to the right, maybe? Can I counter that with a bit of less left throttle? Yes, I can. Okay. Neutralize that kind of rolling tendency. Just fine. Not bad. Right. Let's do the skydiving special, shall we? Power. Actually, you know, we'll stay up high for this. We're going to want to do this the normal way. Bring our RPM back where it should be. Salamzi is over there to the left. And we're currently at about 7,500 feet, which is just fine for this. Airfield just come into view there on the left. So we'll have to drop about 3,000 feet here. We'll see if we can do the skydiver special. Useful for twin turbo props, especially ones delivering silly people that like to jump out of good airplanes. Into beta, let her nose down here. Oh, we're going down. Airspeed's doing around the 120, 130-ish number. So we are descending like rocks right now. See, that's how you're meant to descend in an airplane. That's a descent. Right. Holding right 130 there. We'll bring the nose back to outer beta now. Bring the nose up. And everything's fine. Okay. Over... I don't think that's the school ahead of me, but I seem to recall looking it up and finding it might have been. Not sure. Anyway, airport there. Keep our eyes open. Okay. I will say the glare shield is just small enough to not be too annoying, but high enough to be presenting useful information higher up. Everything is crammed to the top half of this other than our navigation instruments, which is useful for keeping it in line of sight when you're actually landing. It's definitely an aircraft designed for VFR flight and for a stall environment where the pilot wants everything right in their viewpoint at most times, so anything important's up high. So with our vision up here, which is where we want it to be, keeping an eye on important things, our important instruments are right there in front of us. There's the lake. There's the runway. Speed is down now, so we'll drop a notch of flap. Okay, looking good. We'll hold this here for now. We'll turn our base leg and then we'll come in for the final run. We're going to play a game of how short, because you can hang this thing on this big chunky wing. That's a lot of wing for an airplane like this, and we're going to absolutely hang this plane on it. We'll go park next to its cousin. Down in the ground. So keep some little power in here for a minute. In fact, you can just about see her there. Hey, there she is. Looking good, looking good. It gets very slow, this aeroplane, for how big it is. You wouldn't think you're flying a twin turboprop cargo plane, which behaves like this. Second notch flaps. That nose goes right up there. You're going to give it some down trim to balance that. I'm going to cut the power here to just above idle and bring her around. Little rudder. Little more power here just to keep this whilst I'm losing altitude quite quickly. More power. Balance this out. Looking good, and turning now. Full flaps. Commanded. Power's out. Here we are. Now it's just a matter of nice and easily letting it roll down here. We're at 60 knots. 206 landing speeds here. And she just keeps on holding. Let's sink just below 60, and we're just dropping down nicely. Down towards that runway numbers. Not into beta, that's not what I'm going to do. We'll let it sink, and then we'll pull up at the last second. What was that about needing 1,800 feet? So I'm pretty sure I just landed in that many feet. Yeah. The Twin Notter is absolutely hotter. Without a doubt. Let's bring this thing around. We'll taxi her back to the parking spot, so we'll park up next to her sister ship. What do I think of the Twin Notter? I think it's a great aeroplane, actually. I think it's been well made by Inibuilds. I think it's a good looking aircraft. Are we moving? Yes, thank you. I think it's a good looking aircraft. I think it's been well made. It certainly looks decent, and it flies very well. It does exactly what it says on the tin in terms of good slow speed performance and short field performance. She's predictable, which is very important to me. Predictability is big when it comes to this kind of flying. Both bush and short field. You want something that's going to do what you want when you want it to. Nothing wild. Visibility is fantastic. It looks weathered. and worn. Texturing is good. Of course, this is a famous flyer, so it's or local legend, so it's cheap. £8-9 for me. Not a price I can quibble with. And here she is, the sister ship. Let's go outside, shall we? Yep, told you. Sister ship, right here. Although this one has more prop blades. It has 5 rather than 3. Small nuance, but Oscar Echo, Fox Delta November. Right here. And right here. The real Simplane. Go get it. It's fantastic. Well worth it. The Twin Notter we absolutely deserve. It might look ugly, but I think it's beautiful. In its own weird, stubby, tail ramp equipped, fitted with a toilet in the passenger version way. This thing's great. Go get one. What are you still doing here? Bye.